The morning sun slips through the curtains, painting the room in soft gold. A gentle breeze stirs the lace by the window, carrying the scent of dew and quiet. Evelyn sits on the edge of her bed, her hands resting on her knees. She takes a slow breath and feels the familiar pull in her lower back. It's the same stiffness that greets her every morning, like an old guest who never leaves. She sighs and glances at her walking shoes by the door. They've been waiting for her to move, to start the day with purpose. But her body feels heavy, her movement slow, her spirit unsure. She remembers how easily she once bent to tie her shoelaces, how simple it used to be to kneel and tend her roses in the garden. Now each bend feels like a challenge, a reminder of time passing. Yet somewhere deep inside, Evelyn feels a quiet spark of curiosity. She's heard there's a new class at the community center. Something gentle, something called knee-to-toe bends. She wonders if maybe, just maybe, it could help her feel light again. Outside, the day waits patiently for her to begin. Evelyn walks slowly down the narrow street toward the community center. Her steps are careful, her hands tucked into the pockets of her cardigan. The morning is cool, and a soft mist still lingers above the pavement. She passes the bakery, where the smell of warm bread reminds her of old Sundays. A group of children runs by, laughing, their energy bright and effortless. Evelyn smiles, though her back tenses a little with each step. She reaches the glass doors of the center and pauses for a breath. Inside, voices blend together. Soft music plays from a small speaker. She checks the schedule pinned to the wall and sees the name she's looking for. Knee-to-toe bends, gentle mobility for seniors. A simple title, yet it stirs something hopeful inside her chest. The instructor, Mr. Daniel, greets her with a warm nod. His smile is calm, his voice kind, the sort of tone that eases nerves. "Welcome, Evelyn," he says. "We move slowly here and we listen to our bodies." She laughs quietly. "That sounds just right for me." The room is bright, with sunlight pouring through wide windows. Mats line the floor, and a few other seniors stand ready to begin. They chat softly, sharing stories of aching joints and forgotten flexibility. Evelyn joins them, rolling her shoulders to loosen the stiffness there. Mr. Daniel claps his hands gently to gather attention. "Today," he says, "we'll start with something simple but powerful." He moves to the center of the room and stands tall. His feet are flat, knees slightly bent, arms relaxed by his sides. "This exercise is called the knee-to-toe bend," he explains. "It helps your legs stay strong and your back stay free of tension." He takes a slow breath and bends his knees, letting them glide forward. Not far, just enough to feel the stretch in his calves and hips. Then he rises smoothly, exhaling as if releasing the weight of the world. Evelyn watches closely, her mind studying every motion. It looks gentle, almost too easy, but something in it feels balanced. Mr. Daniel invites everyone to try it with him. Evelyn steadies herself, one hand resting lightly on the wall. She bends her knees just a little, cautious, listening to her body's response. A quiet pull spreads from her knees down to her toes. Her back feels tight at first, then strangely warm as if waking up. 1, 2, 3, she counts softly, then rises again. Her breath catches, not from pain but from surprise. The movement feels good. Simple but freeing, like her body had been waiting for this small kindness. Mr. Daniel nods approvingly. "Good," he says. "Remember, small movements can bring big changes." Around her, the others begin to move in rhythm, slow and steady. The room fills with quiet breaths and soft murmurs of focus. Evelyn closes her eyes for a moment and lets herself sink into the motion. She feels her body and mind meet halfway, patient, forgiving, alive. When she opens her eyes, the stiffness hasn't vanished, but it has softened. And in that gentle bend, Evelyn finds the first note of hope. The next morning, Evelyn wakes up before the sun rises. The world outside is still quiet, the light barely touching the edge of the sky. She sits up slowly, expecting the usual ache in her back. But today it feels different, softer, almost forgiving. She smiles a little, surprised by the change that one class made. Her body feels like it remembers something gentle, something new. She walks to the window, stretches her arms and breathes deeply. The memory of yesterday's movements returns to her. Knees forward, heels down, breath steady. She repeats the steps in her mind, then whispers, "Let's try again." She moves to the center of the room, her bare feet on the cool floor. Her reflection in the window shows a woman both curious and cautious. Evelyn places her hands on the back of a chair for balance. She bends her knees slowly, remembering Mr. Daniel's calm voice. "Don't force the motion," he had said. "Let your body guide the pace." She inhales deeply as her knees drift forward toward her toes. Her heels stay grounded, her back tall, her eyes focused ahead. For a moment, she feels the stretch ripple through her legs like a quiet wave. Then she exhales, returning to standing, her heart steady and calm. It's not perfect, but it feels real, a conversation between her and her body. She tries again, slower this time, feeling each muscle awaken. The tension in her calves fades into warmth. The stiffness in her spine eases. Each bend becomes smoother, each rise more confident. Her breath moves in rhythm, steady and soft, a melody of patience. She imagines Mr. Daniel standing beside her, his voice guiding her gently. "This exercise isn't about perfection," he had said. "It's about presence." She repeats his words quietly, like a small prayer for her morning. Presence, that's something she's lost in the rush of years. Always doing, always worrying, rarely pausing to feel her own breath. But now, in the silence of her home, she finds peace in the simple motion. Her body bends, her mind follows, her heart feels open. She feels grounded, as if the floor itself supports her strength. When she stands again, she closes her eyes and listens to the hum of stillness. Her breath slows, and for the first time in years, her back doesn't protest. It feels alive, awake, grateful for attention long forgotten. She laughs softly, surprised by how light she feels. The morning sun finally spills through the window, touching her face. In that light, Evelyn feels younger, not by years, but by spirit. She thinks of the class later that week, of her new routine. It's not about exercise anymore. It's about connection. A connection between movement and meaning, between effort and grace. She looks out the window again, watching the world wake up. And she whispers, maybe strength was never gone. It was just waiting to be found. The afternoon sun glows softly through the windows of the community center. Evelyn returns for her second class, her steps lighter than before. She greets Mr. Daniel with a bright smile that surprises even herself. He nods warmly and says, "Welcome back, Evelyn. Ready to move again?" She laughs, "I think my knees are ready, but my balance might need help." The group gathers, their chatter filled with quiet excitement. Some new faces appear, curious and hopeful just as she once was. Mr. Daniel claps his hands gently, signaling the start of practice. "Let's begin where we left off," he says. "Remember, patience is strength." Evelyn takes her spot near the window, the light brushing her shoulders. Her hands rest on the wall, steady and sure. She bends her knees forward again, slowly, breathing through the motion. This time, the movement feels more natural, like her body remembers the rhythm. She feels the pull behind her calves, a deep stretch that speaks of progress. Mr. Daniel walks by, observing with calm eyes. "Good," he says softly. "Keep your heels grounded, let your breath lead." Evelyn nods, focusing on the steady flow of her breathing. Inhale as she bends, exhale as she rises. It feels almost like a dance, slow, deliberate and full of care. The class moves together, a quiet harmony of motion and sound. The floor creaks softly under their feet, echoing the rhythm of renewal. Evelyn's reflection catches her attention in the mirror ahead. Her posture looks different, stronger, steadier. She sees a woman who is no longer afraid to move. For years, she thought stillness meant safety. She avoided bending, twisting, reaching, fearing pain more than weakness. But now she realizes that stillness was never her protection. Movement is. She bends again, lower this time, trusting her body to hold her. Her knees feel warm, her back open and light. The ache that once controlled her mornings has softened into quiet strength. Around her, laughter breaks the silence as others feel their own small victories. An older man jokes, "If we keep this up, we'll all be dancing soon." The room fills with gentle laughter, a shared release of joy. Evelyn smiles wide, her heart lifting with the sound. She never expected exercise to feel this alive, this connected. Mr. Daniel looks around the group, his voice kind and proud. "Every small bend you make," he says, "is a conversation with your body. It listens, it remembers, and it heals when you give it time." Evelyn repeats his words silently, letting them settle deep inside. A conversation with her body. Yes, that's exactly what this is. For so long, she only heard her body's complaints. Now she hears gratitude. As the class ends, she bows her head slightly, feeling thankful. She walks out into the evening light, her steps steady, her spirit strong. The air feels cool against her skin, and every movement feels like a promise kept. The next class begins with calm music and slow breathing. Mr. Daniel stands at the front, his voice smooth and steady. "Today," he says, "we'll talk about why these movements matter." Evelyn listens closely, her hands resting on her knees. He smiles and continues, "When you bend your knees toward your toes, something simple happens. Your blood begins to move more freely through your legs. It feeds your muscles, your joints, and even your lower back." Evelyn nods gently, imagining the quiet flow inside her body. He walks slowly among the group, his words measured and warm. "For many of us," he says, "stiffness is not just age. It's the body's way of saying it wants attention. When we sit too long or stop moving, tension builds like dust. But with every bend, with every slow breath, that dust begins to clear." The class bends together, knees gliding forward, spines tall and relaxed. The sound of synchronized breathing fills the room like soft waves. Evelyn feels warmth in her calves, her back loosening with each motion. Her body feels like a door slowly opening after years of being locked. Mr. Daniel continues, "This exercise is gentle but powerful. It strengthens the knees, protects the ankles, and supports the back. For older adults, it helps restore mobility that daily life quietly steals." Evelyn thinks about her mornings before this class, the stiffness, the hesitation. She smiles, realizing how much lighter her days have become. Mr. Daniel gestures to his own knees, bending again with care. "Notice how the movement connects your legs to your spine," he says. "Everything in the body is linked. When one part moves, the rest follows." Evelyn feels it now, the connection running from her toes to her shoulders. Each bend feels like a ripple through water, smooth and alive. Her breathing deepens as her confidence grows. She whispers to herself, "My body remembers how to move." The instructor looks around, his eyes full of quiet pride. He says, "When you do this daily, even for a few minutes, you teach your body trust. You tell it that it's safe to move again." Evelyn feels that safety blooming inside her like sunlight through clouds. The fear of pain that once ruled her steps begins to fade. She bends again, slower, deeper, her focus calm and grounded. Her heart feels open, her breath flows without strain. Around her, the others move too, each one finding their own rhythm. There is no competition here, no pressure, only presence. Mr. Daniel's voice softens, almost like a whisper. Movement, he says, is a kind of medicine, not in pills or bottles, but in patience and breath. Evelyn feels that truth settle deep in her bones. Each gentle bend now carries more meaning than she ever expected. By the time the music fades, her body hums with quiet strength. And when she straightens up, she feels lighter, freer, and fully awake. Weeks drift by like calm waves on a quiet shore. Evelyn's mornings have changed in ways she never expected. She wakes before sunrise, no longer dreading the ache in her back. Her first motion each day is a deep breath, soft and full of promise. Then she moves to her window, steadying her hands on the chair. The air is cool, the light still gentle, and her reflection smiles back. She begins her knee-to-toe bend slowly, breathing through each count. 1, 2, 3, she whispers, feeling her knees glide forward. Her body now moves with ease, like it remembers joy. The stiffness that once ruled her mornings is just a faint memory. Outside, birds sing, their rhythm matching her gentle motion. Her garden waits for her, blooming brighter than ever. She finishes her stretches, feeling warmth spread through her back and legs. Today she will tend her roses without hesitation, without fear. Her neighbors often watch her, amazed at her renewed energy. "You look younger every week," one says with a grin. Evelyn laughs. "I just learned how to move kindly." Later that day, she joins the class again at the community center. The room feels like home now, familiar faces. Soft light, calm voices. Everyone greets her warmly, sharing stories of small victories. One woman says her knees no longer ache climbing the stairs. Another man shares how he can finally walk his dog without pain. Their stories fill the air with quiet pride and shared strength. Mr. Daniel stands before them, smiling with genuine joy. "Do you see," he says softly, "you are all proof that movement heals. It's not about speed or perfection. It's about listening to your body." Evelyn feels his words settle deep in her heart. She remembers how afraid she once was to even bend. Now her knees feel strong, her balance steady, her breath sure. She closes her eyes as the class begins again. The rhythm of bending and rising feels almost sacred now. A harmony of motion that connects body, breath, and spirit. She feels the gentle stretch in her calves, the looseness in her back. Her mind is quiet, her body speaking clearly for the first time in years. As the music plays softly, Evelyn feels something shift inside her. Not just flexibility, but confidence, a sense of ownership over her body. Each movement reminds her she is still capable, still vibrant, still here. The class ends with everyone standing tall, eyes shining with calm energy. Mr. Daniel bows slightly, saying, "You've all done beautifully." Evelyn feels a lump in her throat, a tear forming in the corner of her eye. This isn't just exercise anymore. It's renewal. It's reclaiming every part of herself that time tried to quiet. As she walks home, the evening air cool against her skin, she feels strong. Not young but fully alive, and that she thinks is far better. The room is filled with the soft hum of conversation and quiet laughter. It's the last session of the month, and the group feels closer than ever. Evelyn takes her usual place by the window, where sunlight spills gently across the floor. Mr. Daniel enters with his calm smile, carrying a small speaker and a folded mat. "Today," he says, "we'll move together one last time as a group." His voice carries warmth, steady and reassuring, like an old song you never forget. He asks everyone to stand in a circle, their hands resting lightly on their hearts. "Breathe," he says, "and remember how far you've come." Evelyn inhales deeply, feeling her chest expand with quiet pride. Around her, Friends she once barely knew now share silent encouragement. The music begins, soft and slow, a rhythm that invites peace. Mr. Daniel guides them through the first bend, knees moving forward with grace. Feel your strength, he says, in the space between motion and stillness. Evelyn bends gently, her breath steady, her heels grounded. She feels her body respond with trust, her back fluid and free. Every movement now carries memory, the first struggle, the quiet progress, the daily hope. Her body no longer trembles with uncertainty. It moves with quiet knowing. Each inhale feels like forgiveness, each exhale like gratitude. The class moves as one, a slow dance of balance and belonging. Evelyn opens her eye and catches sight of others smiling through focus. It feels like a celebration, not loud, but deeply human. Mr. Daniel's voice floats above the soft music. This is more than exercise, he says. It's a reminder that your body is your oldest friend. It listens, it learns, it carries you even when you doubt it will. Evelyn feels her throat tighten with emotion, but she keeps moving. Her knees bend and rise in rhythm with the group's shared breath. The motion feels endless, timeless, like waves meeting the shore. She closes her eyes and whispers to herself, "I'm still growing." The words linger in her mind, like a gentle promise. As the music fades, the room grows quiet. Only the sound of breathing remains. Mr. Daniel bows his head, his eyes glistening with quiet pride. "You've each written a story of strength in your own bodies," he says. "Carry it with you. Let movement be your teacher, your comfort, your song." Evelyn feels tears gather, but doesn't hide them. They are not from sadness, but from a deep sense of arrival. When the class ends, she walks outside, the sunlight warm against her face. The world feels different, softer, more alive, more connected. She takes a slow, deliberate breath, then bends her knees once more. A simple motion, yet full of meaning, full of life. The wind stirs the leaves nearby, echoing her gentle rhythm. Evelyn smiles to herself and whispers, "Every bend brings me home." And with that she straightens, standing tall beneath the open sky. The evening settles gently over the quiet town. Evelyn walks home, with the golden light fading behind her. Each step feels steady, each breath full and calm. The world around her hums softly, alive with ordinary beauty. She passes her garden and pauses beside the blooming roses. Their petals glow faintly in the last light of day. She kneels down, effortlessly now, and touches the soil. It feels cool, rich, and grounding beneath her fingers. She smiles, remembering the first time she could barely bend. Now her body moves like an old friend. She trusts completely. She straightens slowly, her back strong, her heart light. The air carries the scent of earth and evening blossoms. Somewhere in the distance, a bell rings, soft and familiar. Evelyn breathes deeply, her eyes closing for a moment of quiet peace. She thinks of the classes, the laughter, the warmth of shared effort. Movement, she realizes, is more than health, it's connection. A conversation between body and spirit that never truly ends. As she steps inside her home, the sky darkens above. And in that stillness she whispers, "I am alive and I am free."